Greetings, all you anthropomorphic personality trait representations out there, and welcome to Undeclared Bajor. This is Undeclared Bajor, a Star Trek Deep Space Nine rewatch. My name is Fletcher. About to say hello is Data.
Yo!
Today, we're going to recap, discuss, and rate Season 3, Episode 18, Distant Voices. Alternate title, Eternal Sunshine of the Bashir Mind.
I've never actually seen Eternal Sunshine, so I'll believe you that that's inappropriate.
It's appropriate enough.
Okay.
Title review?
I
just have written meh.
Yeah, meh. Apparently, the working title for the episode was Too Many Rooms, and I don't know that that's better.
Yeah, I mean, at least I immediately understand what Distant Voices is referring to.
Yeah, it's true. But, yeah, it's not bad. It's just kind of, whatever.
Yeah. I feel like they could have hit the bullseye a little better. Anyway, our discussion will contain full spoilers for the series up through this episode. However, we will try to keep spoilers for later in the series to an appropriate minimum. We won't reveal anything too big, like the time everything gets all weird and everybody's acting strange and out of character, and it doesn't turn out to be a dream. It just turns out everybody's having kind of a bad day.
They were trying to keep a surprise party secret, and it caused all sorts of problems and misunderstandings.
Classic sitcom premise.
Yep.
Classic sitcom Star Trek Deep Space Nine. This episode originally aired April 10th, 1995. So was that like a 6-week break since the February 20 whatever?
Let's see. The last one was February 27th, which would have been the end of the month. Yeah, close to.
Yeah. So everybody's ready. Everybody's itching to get their Deep Space Nine back, and this is what they got. It was written by Ira Stephen Bear and Robert Hewitt Wolfe. Story by Joe Menosky.
Yep.
No award-winning sci-fi novelists in this.
Let's see. Joe Menosky started his career as an executive story editor during the 4th season of Star Trek The Next Generation and became co-producer for the 5th season.
We've done something with Joe Menosky before.
I believe that.
Because either he did... he was involved in Ship in a Bottle, or he's been on Deep Space Nine before. But
let's see. He's got 4 episodes of Deep Space Nine that he wrote. One of them was Season 1, Dramatis Personae, and he did the teleplay for Rivals in Season 2. So,
okay.
Apparently he's working on Star Trek Discovery as a writer and co-executive producer.
Oh, nice.
I'm sorry. He was, and then he left to do the Orville instead.
Nice. He's like, forget this. I'm going to the Orville.
They appreciate people over there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
He's like, I think I've had enough Alex Kurtzman for my career. Yeah. Anyway, and the episode was directed by Alexander Singer.
Yeah, we've had him before.
Yeah, returning director. So here's our recap. And I've tried as hard as I can to make it just not Bashir stumbles into something weird, then runs away and stumbles into something else weird 27 times in a row.
I mean, yeah, that is kind of how it goes.
So, Bashir and Garrick enjoy lunch at the Replomat. Bashir offers Garrick some more Yigrish cream pie, but Garrick says he's full. Then Bashir points out that he's barely touched his food. I bring up all this detail because did Bashir just think he might want more cream pie on top of the helping he hadn't finished yet? Or did Garrick just eat the cream pie and ignore the rest?
That's my assumption, that he got this whole meal, he ate the pie, and then nothing else. And Bashir's like, I mean, do you want more pie? Or
yeah, it's like a kid going straight for the Oreo in his Lunchables. I guess he's on a diet or something, I don't know. But Garrick presents Bashir an early birthday present. A holosuite program of a Cardassian Enigma tale. Bashir complains that Enigma tales all end the same way. All suspects always turn out to be guilty. And Garrick says that's the point. The fun is figuring out who did what. Which, that sounds like a pretty fun genre to me.
Yeah, I agree. That's like a mystery book on steroids where there's apparently multiple simultaneous mysteries, and you have to figure out like which character matches up with which one. That's great. Yeah. I'd read that. I'd play that.
Bashir's not into it, and you watch that, you're just like, boy, sounds like we're foreshadowing a fun, complicated mystery this episode. I hope they follow up on that. Then Bashir whines about turning 30, the way all 30-year-olds naively do. It just reminds me of that episode of Friends when I forget who turns 30, but then it flashes back to all the times everybody turned 30. And it was like Joe turns 30, he's like, no, God, why? And it's like Chandler turns 30, he's like, how did you get Chandler too?
I think it was Rachel's 30th birthday is the name of this episode or something.
Okay.
Oh no, the one where they all turn 30 is what the episode is called.
Classic. Anyway, then Garrick and Bashir are interloped by Quark and a weird alien dude. Is interlope a transitive verb, you ask? Shut up, I say.
It was now.
Alien dude wants to buy some biomimetic gel. Which, I'm willing to bet money that you have a quote in there of Ira Stephen Bear being really proud of this red herring that the biomimetic gel is going to be involved in some way.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, darn it. Good thing I didn't really bet the money. But Bashir's like, no, you can't do that. That's illegal in the Federation where we are not. So the alien's like,
yeah. I mean, the Federation runs the station, so Bashir still cannot sell him the thing. But, right. I guess
I think
that's why
Bashir would definitely probably get in trouble for selling it to him.
Yeah. But that's why they don't just arrest him immediately. Like, you should probably warn him that if he goes around trying that lots of places, he'll get arrested for it in the Federation.
Yeah, I think maybe the first stop Bashir should have made was to Odo's.
It's like, Odo, is this illegal under Bajoran law also? Because this guy's pretty shady.
Yeah. But anyway, later Bashir walks into the infirmary to find weird alien dude rifling through his supplies. Bashir confronts the alien, but the alien is just like, lightning hands, motherfucker!
Yep.
And then Bashir collapses to the ground.
Surprise, motherfucker! Yeah. Didn't expect that, did you?
It's like, didn't know I had lightning hands, huh? So Bashir awakes to find the infirmary trashed and the lights flickering. He tries to call people, but nobody answers. Momentarily, he hears whispering voices coming from somewhere. You might say distant voices. But he can't figure out where. He follows them out to the promenade, which is totally deserted. But there is a mirror, which he checks to find that he suddenly has some gray hairs. It's like, I think there was like a cosmetics stand out there or something.
Well, yeah, Bajorans need makeup too.
Sure. Then he finds a replicator leaking Tarkalian tea, which just made me yell, replicators do not work that way.
Yeah, also, it was just like, if weird shit is going on, and everybody's disappeared, and then you see mysterious, liquid or ooze dripping out of something, don't stick your fingers in there.
Stick your hand right in that. Why not? It definitely put it in your mouth and taste it.
I think he smelled it.
Oh, okay. Then he hears noises coming from Odo's office. It turns out Garrick is in there, also trying to figure out what's going on.
Oh, you skipped over the whole Quark section.
That's because I scrolled down too far. So yes, before that, he hears noises coming from inside Quark's. He goes in to investigate and finds Quark cowering behind the bar, going on and on about how he's going to kill us all. Then Bashir goes over to go see what's making all that noise, but it throws a chair at him, so Bashir just leaves.
So we find out later that everybody in here is like an aspect, or almost everybody, is an aspect of Bashir's personality or whatever. So, but it's never established what aspect Quark is. So do you have any guesses?
I'm guessing he's just his, well, because O'Brien was his cowardly lion or something, right? So
yeah, his doubt.
He's just his doubt, but maybe Quark could be a slightly nuanced, different version of his fear or something. I don't know.
There's a long bit in here where I can't find anything really factual about this. I think some wiki editor was just I'm going to put my theories in here. And so it's
that's always fun.
While it is never explained in the episode what aspect of Bashir was represented by Quark, the episode does hold some clues as to what it might have been. When Bashir first meets Quark, he says, "Don't you see? If we move, he'll find us." Not only is this exactly what happens after, but only in the end does Bashir realize he should have stayed in the infirmary all along. When Bashir meets Quark for the second time, Quark is holding bets to predict when the Doctor will die and what part of him will go first. As a result, O'Brien ends up taking Bashir's place as a subject of the bets and dies. As a shady, big-eared character who is well aware of most everything going on in the station next to Odo, Quark could be something like Bashir's insight.
Ah. You know what? I'll let him have it. Who Mysterious Memory Alpha editor.
Yep.
Good job. Okay. So then that's when he goes to see the replicator, then he sees Garrick, and then he hears more whispers, which Garrick claims he can't hear because Cardassians have slightly less acute hearing than humans.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. They decide to split up and go looking around. Never a good idea. So while Bashir is walking around the corridors, shining flashlights in places, lights start turning off menacingly behind him. He jumps in a turbo lift, but gets attacked by the bad alien guy. He kicks him out of the lift, but then the alien jumps on the roof of the lift and starts just pounding around or something. Who knows? He's like,
punch roof, punch roof.
The turbo lift deposits Bashir in another corridor, where he hears familiar voices arguing. He follows the voices to the conference room, which, is this where the conference room is?
I don't know. That's a
I always
really
assumed
good
it was
question.
like somewhere off of Ops or something, but
one would think, right?
But you know, once again, this is this is like Bashir's memory palace, not the real Deep Space Nine. So
yes, I don't know that we, other than me saying that the characters were aspects of him, I don't know that we'd said that yet. But yes, this is
yeah,
not real Deep Space Nine.
Yeah. Spoilers.
Apparently, the original pitch by Joe Menosky didn't feature any of the regular cast members or Deep Space Nine. It was like different actors playing different aspects of Bashir's life, such as youth, age, and joy. And then Ronald D. Moore was like, well, why don't we set it on the station and use the regular cast, and then it won't cost us a bunch of money.
Yeah. I have to kind of agree with Ronald D. Moore. I mean, why not use the actors you're already paying? Okay, what was the episode of the Venture Brothers? Now that you mention it, where it was like different people represented different aspects of Dr. Venture's personality or something like that. He was in his head.
Let me see. Let me see if I can find this.
Like, I think like White and Billy were like Eros and Thanatos or something like that.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. Now that you say that, I remember. And he's got like the room with all the women or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
This episode is season 4, episode 14, Assisted Suicide.
Nice. Definitely need to catch up on the Venture Brothers before that movie comes out. Or not catch up, but just like refresh myself.
The game they're playing touch football, and the game's interrupted when Brock senses someone is in his car. And it turns out that it's Dr. Venture's attempted suicide.
Ah, wow.
Except that then it turns out that Brock's car is fully electric, so the suicide was stupid.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, he follows the voices to the conference room. As he enters the room, old man makeup suddenly appears on his face.
Yep. It's a very abrupt change. From just like gray hair on the side to old man.
Yep. Dax, O'Brien, Kira, and Odo are in there bickering about what to do. Everybody's acting totally weird and out of character, so Bashir tries to have the computer scan them. Which doesn't work.
Apparently,
obviously.
They shot this whole scene in like one long take, and then like cut it up with close-ups and stuff and coverage. But all the like shots that show everybody are part of the same one take.
Oh, cool. So Bashir hears whispers again, so he brings the gang with him to do some computer repairs to get the sensors online.
Yeah, so at this point, as they're leaving the room, they're like, what if, or I guess it's before they're leaving the room, but it's like, what about the Lethian? What if he finds us? And Bashir's like, oh yeah, I saw him. And they're like, wait, what, you saw him? And it's like, yeah, I mean, I saw him on like deck 5, but he's probably not there anymore. And I was like, but wait. Wasn't he on top of the turbo lift, punching the turbo lift
yeah,
just now when like 2 doors down from the room you're currently in? You didn't think this was relevant to say to anybody. Okay.
Maybe he thought the pounding on the roof was something else.
Unrelated to the Lethian.
So I wonder what that weird pounding on the roof is. Oh, well, at least I got away from that alien guy. Okay, so Chief O'Brien does his magic. They, find a computer panel or something. Chief O'Brien does his magic and taps into a signal of Dax and Cisco talking about how Bashir is in a telepathically induced coma. Wait, I know what's going on here, says Bashir. I'm in a telepathically induced coma.
Bum, bum, bum. Who knew?
It's like he figures this out from the thing that, flat out explains it.
Well, I mean, none of the other people believe it, so it's not like it's a foolproof way.
And then he confirms this somehow with tricorder readings, where he reads, coma waves coming out of himself.
Only delta waves coming from me.
And then, non-existence waves coming from everybody else.
Yeah. And I like O'Brien, she's like, no, what this means is this tricorder is broken, which is really the more logical conclusion, honestly.
True. In normal circumstances, I'd agree. Then in a really long, tedious scene, he puzzles out that all the other people must be representations of various aspects of his personality, and then explains what all of those are.
Yep.
And then the bad alien represents the telepathic damage killing his brain, and the station itself represents his mind. So if they fix the station, he'll come out of his coma. All right, that's the premise. Let's go.
I mean, it's a plan, so why not?
Better than doing nothing, I guess.
Yep.
But then suddenly, Bad Alien jumps out and drags Dax away. And then we just suddenly cut to Bashir and Garrick playing tennis on the promenade. And then Garrick is like, maybe you should go to Ops. That's where all the stuff gets fixed. Then Bashir, I guess on his way to Ops, walks down a corridor full of injured people. And then Cisco is in there giving them medical attention, since Cisco apparently represents Bashir's professionalism.
Not for long, he doesn't.
Bashir asks Cisco to come with him to Ops, and he's like, okay. Then immediately the bad alien guy jumps out and grabs him and drags him away.
Man, my skill and professionalism would have been useful repairing the station. Oh, well.
Yeah, that's true. He could have used that. And then the alien comes out and he's like, ha 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 ha, I'm an evil alien. Watch me talk like Freddy Krueger. So then Bashir runs away, and he stumbles upon Kira just dead, and then Odo slowly melting. Bashir isn't looking too good himself at this point.
No.
I will point out. And then Odo's like, use the conduits to get to Ops. And then he...
use the Force.
I guess he melts and dies or whatever. On his way through the conduits, Bashir finds O'Brien. They crawl to Ops, but wind up back on the promenade somehow. Now a bunch of people are in Quarks gathered around a table with old Bashir on it, placing bets on how long he'll last and which organs will fail and blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
But then the guy on the table turns into O'Brien, who Quark announces is dead. Then it turns into the bad alien, who just reaches up and kills Quark. He's like, rah,
because why not?
Yep. I'm sure every single thing that happens is a meticulously thought out, metaphor. And if you don't get it, that's your own fault.
Yep.
So Bashir flees and collides with Garrick and then breaks his hip. But then he's walking around pretty well later, so it's not that bad.
Not one of those bad hip breaks.
Yeah, he's like, I've broken my hip. And then later he's just kind of limping around. So it's like, oh, I guess that hip is doing better. Garrick helps him to Ops, where some random lady throws him a surprise birthday party.
It's a Dabo girl, apparently.
Sure. I believe she's a Dabo girl. Bashir is in super old man mode now. He shoos the party away and gets to work putting his engineering extension courses to use. Which I was just always like, who do you think you're bullshitting with these engineering extension courses? He's always going on about these extension courses. I'm like, come on, dude. Let's be real.
So, there's the thing in here that says, the inclusion of both the tennis balls falling and the Dabo girl who sings were designed to add humor to the final scenes in Bashir's mind. Ira Stephen Bear comments, at the end of the story break, we started thinking about Marilyn Monroe singing Happy Birthday to JFK. Out of nowhere, apparently. It's just like, yeah. Oh yeah, we started thinking about that. And we said, what's in the mind of Julian Bashir? Well, the mind's a chaotic thing, and we've always played him as a bit of a rake, so we felt we needed a pretty woman. At such a serious moment, a life and death moment, it was a nice juxtaposition.
Sure. I have to admit, I did laugh when the tennis balls hit him in the face. But yes, so he starts opening panels, tennis balls start just pounding him in the face. Bashir starts to realize that there's something wrong with Garrick and calls him out on it. Then Garrick morphs into the villain dude who's like, yeah, it's me, the bad guy. I got you. Which, I don't know what it is about this shot. Like, there's this really flat, like, 2-shot, I guess. I don't know what you call it. But, like, I was like, a special effect is going to happen in this shot. I can just tell.
Yeah, that happens sometimes where you can tell from the way it's filmed that, like, something's going to happen.
There's nothing graphically wrong with the shot that I could find. I was just like, something about the way the shot was composed, just like so still and flat. I was like, I think a special effect is about to happen.
It's on the DVDs for Babylon 5, you can always tell because of complicated reasons they like messed up they had to change any shot with special effects so that it's like it's just clearly like the quality of the picture is less because they've blown it up. So, like the second, it's like it's a perfectly good, perfectly nice picture quality, and then it cuts, and it's like, oh crap! Like everything just got really crappy looking. A special effects must be coming up.
It's like in those movies that are shot part on IMAX, part on regular.
Oh yeah, yep.
And then like, when the aspect ratio suddenly goes like square, you're like, oh, we're gonna get some action here. So anyway, yeah, the bad alien guy just starts taunting him about his failed tennis career, about choking on the Starfleet medical finals, and about never being able to score with Dax.
Yeah, some interesting choices there. So one fun thing in here is that like the whole thing about the pre-ganglionic fiber and the post-ganglionic nerve, that was introduced in an earlier episode that he didn't make first in class because he mixed those up. Apparently, Robert Hewitt Wolf's wife, ever since that episode, has been like, hey, you need to fix that. Because in reality, those are nothing alike. And it says that she was like a pre-vet. So I guess she was in veterinary school or something at the time. And this was relevant to that somehow. But she like kept bugging him that like, that bothers me. You need to fix that. And so he's like, fine, we'll put it in here.
Yeah, so maybe Bashir sabotaged himself, who knows, subconsciously. But Bashir runs away to the turbo lift, and then he goes down to the infirmary, the true center of Bashir's brain.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I don't know. He fixes a doodad behind the panel, and the lights become 0.1% brighter, allowing Bashir to tell the alien he doesn't look as threatening in the light. But also that ops scene was pretty well lit, so...
It's true.
Then he traps the alien in a quarantine field and then sterilizes him out of existence. I guess I glossed over the whole, like, speech that I guess is the whole point of the episode, where he's like, so what? You know, my life has been some choices, or whatever.
I love medicine.
Yeah, I like being a doctor, I like being friends with Dax. And he says, begin sterilization, and then begin sterilization apparently just means, like, literally total sterilization. Like, just kill that guy.
I mean, phaser didn't do anything, but I guess sterilization does for some reason. Whatever.
Why not? So, yeah, this causes Bashir to wake up from his coma. And then later he has dinner with Garrick and explains that the real alien got arrested 2 seconds after he zapped him.
The real alien was inside of Saul alone.
Garrick is fascinated by the fact that he was cast in the role of villain, even after all this time they've known each other. There's hope for you yet, Doctor, says Garrick.
Like, even after all this time, you don't trust me.
Yeah. Then Bashir pulls out a top and spins it, and we cut to credits right before we see it fall down or not. The end.
You know, could have been. I like one of the notes here compares this episode with The Search Part 2, where there's also, like, fake Garrick. And it's like, they actually act a lot alike, these two Garricks.
Yeah, like, the whole time I was like, Garrick is the only character, like, acting like Garrick. It's just, like, Garrick's personality is so strong, it's even, like, simulations and comas can't, like, change it.
Yeah, apparently. And then there's another bit about Garrick, because they have that scene where they're playing tennis. And it was like, despite the fact that Bashir was an avid tennis player in his youth, this is the only time we see him playing tennis. And if you infer from Garrick's "your service" line that Garrick was serving, Bashir won the abbreviated match, Love 15. So in case you were really, really curious about who won that match.
Wait, so Love 15 means that he got 1 point.
Right.
I don't know if that logically follows, because we could have, like, Garrick could have won points earlier.
That's
right?
true. Although, well, I mean, we were there. We saw when the match... They were in the middle of the match when we flashed there, but Bashir wasn't there a moment before that, so I don't think you could count anything before.
Also, a match is usually like 2 out of 3 sets or whatever.
Which is multiple games. So
Love 15 is the score of a game.
Let's see. What other interesting stuff in here? There's Alexander Siddig said that before doing this episode, he's had to spend a lot of time readying himself for the old age thing he was going to have to do next week. He's like, I needed to prepare for it. Not to practice being old, but just to get it in my head. To walk around with it and get comfortable with the idea. It was a massive challenge for me as an actor.
I mean, his old acting was pretty good, I'd say.
Yeah, sure.
I'll give him that.
And then Andrew Robinson, who... This guy just loves the Garrick character from everything that I've seen and likes to get very deep into Garrick. And so in this one, Andrew Robinson likened the version of Garrick imagined by Bashir to the Carl Jung archetype, the magician, commenting, there is a sort of magical turn that happens that involves Garrick. Robinson continued by comparing the magician to the usual version of Garrick, pointing out that whereas the magician is the great manipulator of spatial elements and can rearrange appearances in such a way that they look a certain way but they really are not, Garrick is a totally subtextual character because everything he's really saying is on the subtextual level.
Sure. Okay. I mean, who am I to argue with his process? So
yeah, I mean, whatever gets you there, dude.
I mean, Garrick is always great.
A guy, Tom Morga, is the stunt double for the guy who plays the Lethian. And then later in the series, another Lethian appears, and there's like, well, just get Tom Morga to play him. It's fine. Like, we don't need 2 different people in the Lethian suit. It's
sure. Cool. Nice. So by stunt double, you mean he's the guy who's always playing the Lethian?
No, like Victor Rivers plays the Lethian in, I guess, when the Lethian has to act, but then he has a stunt double who is the Lethian when there's stunts.
Oh, okay.
And then in the second time there's a Lethian, it's like, just get that stunt guy. It's fine.
Nice.
Distant Voices won the Emmy Award for Outstanding Individual Achievement for Makeup for a series.
I guess for the old age makeup?
I guess, yeah, it must have been. It beat the Voyager episode Faces, which was nominated in the same category.
Huh. I mean, sometimes the old age makeup looked pretty good. Sometimes it looked a little iffy.
Oh, it says Altovar the Lethian was also really interesting because his makeup was different from anything we'd done. So maybe it's like overall makeup of the episode.
Maybe.
What is Faces? The Vidians capture B'Elanna Torres and split her into 2 people, one fully Klingon and one fully human.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Like a reverse Tuvix situation.
Exactly, yeah. Here's the Ira Stephen Bear comment on the episode. I thought it worked very well. It hit on a lot of levels that we wanted the show to hit on. It was a station show, but it was an interesting station show. It used all of our characters in interesting ways and was a wonderful episode for Bashir and Siddig. It has Bashir dealing with difficult situation and dealing with it in a heroic, interesting manner. I thought he did some wonderful acting as he aged. The villain was interesting. Garrick was a lot of fun. We had some alien chick Dabo girl singing in a saloon. Overall, a fun show.
I mean, Ira Stephen Bear. He's got the gift of spin, that's for sure.
Some alien chick, whatever,
So, oh man, it was great. There was an alien chick. Wait, was she even an alien?
I don't know if we've ever seen a human Dabo girl, honestly. Let's see what it says about her. That'd be like Act 4, Act 5. It says a Bajoran woman in a skin-tight outfit.
Oh, okay. I did not notice that she was Bajoran. Here's
a picture of her. Let me see. It is hard to pick her out as Bajoran, honestly. I'm trying to get a good look at her nose, and I don't know. And the last interesting note here is that this is the first of 2 consecutive episodes to feature no scenes with the real Kira or O'Brien, but only alternate versions of them.
Okay. I mean, that's one of those things that's like so specific. It's like, All right.
Yeah, right. Like, okay, then. Spoilers for the next episode, people. Sorry.
Yeah. The next episode, Through the Looking Glass, or whatever. I wonder what that could be about.
The next episode where we go into Cisco's mind, and he has, like, everyone being parts of his personality.
It's like, Cisco gets lightning hands by that alien guy.
Lightning Hands comes back for a second round.
He's like, oh man, we really gotta, like, keep that guy contained.
He just keeps doing this thing.
So you want to jump into ratings?
Yeah, all right.
So how would you rate the episode Distant Voices?
So, Garrick is great, because Garrick is always great. I love Garrick here. I don't love, in general, the premise of this episode takes place completely in somebody's head. I know there have been some, like, really popular episodes that basically, like, The Inner Light is basically that.
Sure.
And it's one of, like, the people's all-time favorite Next Generation episodes. It's not one of my favorites, honestly. It's just, this one even more than The Inner Light. It just feels so pointless. Like, only one person had any actual experience in the episode. And with Picard, at least there's, like, a little bit, like, that carries on with the flute or whatever. In this one, it's just like, yeah, Bashir went through a thing, whatever.
Yeah.
So, I think the only thing I really like about it is the Garrick performance. And there's some funny bits, like you mentioned the tennis balls. That's worth a laugh. There's a few little fun bits like that. But overall, I'm just like, so this is going to be below the line for me. I'm going to put it at, like, lieutenant.
All right. Just full lieutenant?
Yeah.
So, here's my thoughts. There is one thing, and only one thing, saving this episode from a guaranteed ensign.
Okay.
And that's that Garrick is in it. That doesn't guarantee that it's going to get a higher rating, but that causes it to be allowed for consideration for higher ratings. But I mean, mostly I just find the episode so boring. Like, I do like The Inner Light. I mean, it's hard, it's kind of hard to draw the line, like, where exactly, like, what's that other episode? The one where he doesn't fight the Nausicaans, then he turns into, like, a lame loser.
Oh, Q, it's a Q episode with a Q name.
Oh, yeah, it's got a Q
pun. Or no, it's not. It's like the one Q episode that's not a Q pun. It's, let me see. Tapestry.
Yeah. And I think the thing about those episodes is there's always something, like, external about those episodes where it's like there's still, I don't know, their personalities are coming up against something instead of just them. Because, like, the whole thing is he just kind of, like, navel gazes about himself. He's like, yeah, I like my life, or whatever. It's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, because at the end it's like, I'm okay with turning 30 now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I was going to say we've all been there. We haven't all been there. Most people
Right.
will be there at some point, and I don't
Hopefully.
feel particularly, like, sympathetic for you, honestly. So,
yeah, I mean, you turn 30, and then you're like, oh, it isn't so bad. And then, kind of like a lot of the metaphor is really obvious about him. It's like, he feels like he's getting older, so he's, like, turning into an old man, and I'm like, I get it, but I don't get it in a way that, like, I'm like, oh, I see what you're trying to do here. Okay. So in my mind, that, like, his constantly growing older serves no purpose other than to be annoying.
yeah, it just, like, makes everything more difficult.
And then, like, as opposed to those episodes which were about Picard, this is, like, an episode that delves into the depths of what is possibly the Star Trek universe's most boring psyche. It's like, oh no, I had to change careers from being a star tennis player to being a star doctor. Woe is me. Whereas, like, Tapestry, it was like, he regrets the choices of his youth, and then comes to realize that, like, those choices, while they might not have been the right choices, made him the man that he is today and stuff. And so I feel like that, that's a really, like, cool lesson and it really resonates and stuff.
Yeah, see, I think that's that episode when I was talking about these in your hip brain episodes, that didn't even occur to me because I feel like that is on a different level.
Yeah.
Because it feels meaningful.
Yeah. Whereas this is, he just kind of like, he feels like just as a whiny guy turning 30, and he kind of feels bad that he never lived out his dream of being a tennis pro or something. He never scored with Dax, and then he comes to terms with that. It's like, okay, well, I'm glad you feel better about that now. But Garrick's in it, so Garrick just always pleases me. So I'm going to, I will give it a Lieutenant Junior grade. I'll be merciful. I was just getting like, I was like, I feel like this belongs down in the ensigns with Meridian, but Garrick saved it just by a hair. So that's where I'm going to put it. I was
also almost Lieutenant Junior grade, and then I was like, I don't feel strongly enough about it to put it that way.
That's fair too. It's just like the boringness with no purpose.
Yeah, it is kind of purposeless. I can definitely agree with that.
I mean, you know, like Mr. Plinkett says, I like my Star Trek boring, but not that kind of boring. In fact, I wrote boring with like 6 O's when I was taking my notes.
Boring. So, right, okay.
Like boring. And just the whole time I was kind of just imagining like Ira Stephen Bear being so pleased with himself. First like, oh, this represents this. Oh, we like teased the Enigma mysteries, but we're not going to do an Enigma mystery in this episode. Oh no.
Yeah, I want to see an Enigma mystery.
Yeah.
So, okay. This is random because I was just kind of scrolling through the wiki entry here, and under unreferenced material, there it says Mount Olympus. And I was like, what the hell does that have to do with this episode? So I opened up Mount Olympus, and there's a bunch of stuff in here about like the original series episode Who Mourns for Adonis. Uh-huh. But then at the bottom there's a box, and it says, in the script for the Deep Space Nine episode Distant Voices, for Julian Bashir's surprise birthday party in 2371, the crew of Deep Space Nine had the choices narrowed down to 2 different holosuite programs, a Greek palace on Mount Olympus, or Louis Pasteur's house in Paris. This scene does not appear in the episode.
Okay, I was like, was this a cut scene? I don't remember this at all.
Yeah, it says it's in the script. I don't know if they even filmed it, but I was just like, okay, I guess that's how this is related to the episode. How bizarre.
All right. I just love those Memory Alpha nerds. They come up with all kinds of great stuff.
Right? I'm sitting here trying to think, like, what does a surprise party at Louis Pasteur's house look like? Like, how is it different from anybody else's house? Does he have, like, milk sitting all over, or... I don't know.
Yep. That's probably why the scene was in the episode. We never got the surprise party, the real surprise party, did we?
No, we didn't.
So,
although it clearly wasn't a surprise, because Garrick's like, is Dax planning one of her surprise parties? And Bashir's like, yep, that's what I hear.
Apparently Dax is a very poor, like, surprise party planner.
Or just like somebody on the senior staff has loose lips and just cannot keep a secret.
No, that person is Dax. I mean, let's...
Okay, of the people on the senior staff, yeah, okay. That's fair.
Because, like, she's she just can't contain her excitement. It's like, oh, I got this surprise party. And then that word is always going to get it back around to. And I'm sure she's like going to, like, every time she sees Bashir, she's like, hey, Julian. And Bashir's like, okay. I see what's going on here.
No, Bashir's like, your quarters are mine. She's like, no, not hey, Julian like that. It was, never mind.
And then Bashir's like, oh, okay.
Right, yeah.
Let's see, any other, fun thoughts, fun tangents before we wrap this up?
Let's see.
Unlike last episode, which I felt was super convoluted, this one is like...
I mean, there's lots of weird stuff, but none of it means anything, so it's just like, you just... Like, I don't think you even mentioned the tennis game in the recap, because why would you?
I think wait, let's see, is it in my notes? I think I said they cut to him playing tennis with Garrick or something, but yeah, okay. Yeah, it doesn't...
That's some weird shit, but it lasts like 5 seconds and has no impact on anything. So
right, it's like, oh, just another reference to this tennis career.
Yeah,
that I think got mentioned in one other episode or something.
But I guess when he gave up his tennis career to go to the academy or whatever, or the Starfleet medical school, he took up racquetball as like a substitute for tennis.
Sure, yeah, I buy it.
Maybe the medical school doesn't have a tennis team, but they did have a racquetball team. So,
or maybe just like the tennis coach was like too demanding. He was like, "Okay, geez, I'm gonna this is too intense. I'm just gonna play some racquetball." Same concept.
You hit the ball with the racket. It's fine.
So while I was watching this episode, the whole time I was like, now is when I want to see some Jake and Nog shenanigans.
What parts of his personality are Jake and Nog?
No, so I'm perfectly fine just cutting out of the coma and seeing like what Jake and Nog are up to.
It's like you cut to like Bashir lying on the bed in the coma, and then you just like pan over to the door to the infirmary, and Jake and Nog are walking around out there doing something.
It's like Nog's like, Jake, I have an idea for some profit. Let's steal all his biomimetic gel.
No, he's trying to join Starfleet now.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's go catch that guy who stole that biomimetic gel. That'll get me into Starfleet for sure.
It's like Jake and Nog play like junior detectives or whatever.
Jake's like, didn't that guy like murder Dr. Bashir or something? And Nog's like, we'll be fine. Ferengi have like super brains and stuff.
Yeah, Ferengi are immune to lightning hands. I can take him.
This guy is like, what is up with this Lethian guy anyway? That like Quark clearly does not want to be there asking Bashir about this, but the Lethian is insisting. It's like,
yeah,
does he why is he recruiting Quark for this? He could walk up to Bashir himself and make this offer. And B, does he legitimately think that this Starfleet like chief of medicine on this station is gonna be like, oh yeah, I could go for some extra money. Let me sell you some illegal stuff.
Yeah, yes. You know who is ready to throw out his ethics and sell some illegal drugs? Dr. Bashir.
and then he apparently doesn't even consider that there might be some form of security alarm on the infirmary because Odo shows up like 5 seconds later and arrests him. So he's this Lethian is real dumb.
Yeah, he kind of sucks. Although it's just the whole thing with like him and Quark hints at a much more interesting story that I would like to watch. It's like, is this another like old partner of his that just got out of jail or something?
Yeah, in my mind, like this guy is just, he heard Quark is a guy who can get stuff. And so he goes up to him at the bar and is like, hey, I need this stuff. And Quark, and the weird thing is, usually Quark would be like, yeah, let's plot some like way to get a hold of this stuff for you and I'll make a tidy profit. But here, he very specifically does not seem to be interested, which makes me think that like when this Lethian came on to him, it was just like so creepy or so dumb that Quark's like, okay, even I don't want to be involved in this. And so he's like, Quark's like playing dumb, like, well, I mean, there's only one medical facility on Deep Space Nine and only one guy that has access. I guess we could go ask him, but like just doing the stupidest, least Quark sneaky thing that he could do.
Yeah, just like go through the motions a little bit, jerk this guy off just to get him off your back.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, maybe after that he'll leave me alone. And presumably he did, because he just gives up on the buying it and breaks in.
Right. Quark immediately is like, yeah, this guy's gonna wind up in jail. I don't want anything to do with him.
I don't need to end up in jail because this guy is dumb. So yeah.
Yeah, I have no doubt that Quark, if he really wanted biomimetic gel, could get some.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we know he has a cousin who's like an arms dealer.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there's contacts for this kind of thing.
Yeah, he like, you know, he knows mercenaries he can hire. Like he can do it if he really wants it. But do we even know what biomimetic gel does? I feel like we've heard that term before.
We have. So let's see. It comes up a couple times. Once on the Next Generation episode, The Force of Nature. Dr. Crusher hypothesized that the Fleming may have been hijacked for its cargo of biomimetic gel.
Okay.
The same year, in the episode Preemptive Strike, Ro Laren lies to the Maquis, telling them a Ferengi transport came to the DMZ to deliver biomimetic gel. And it comes up in a couple other episodes of Deep Space Nine, one of them being In the Pale Moonlight, which if you remember biomimetic gel, it's probably from that episode.
Oh, okay.
And then an episode of Voyager called Fair Trade.
Okay. So this guy wants some biomimetic gel, who knows what for.
Yeah, so this guy wants just a few hundred milliliters.
Yeah.
In a later episode, they will be handing over liters of the stuff. So,
Huh.
85 liters to be precise. So,
oh wow, that's a lot of biomimetic gel. If
comparatively,
a few milliliters is a bad amount, I don't know.
So let me see if it says what it actually does. It's a liquid substance used in the study of genetics, highly regulated, could be hazardous if not transported correctly, has applications for the creation of biogenic weapons and organic explosives, as well as illegal genetic and cloning experiments.
Oh. So this guy wants to make a bioweapon or a clone or something.
Just biomimetic makes me think of like stem cells or something.
Yeah. It has that kind of like, that word mimetic.
Yeah.
Makes you think of that. Yeah. Oh, so I mentioned the, because this is what originally sparked my comment. Like, this is a delve into the like most uninteresting psyche ever. Because the episode also reminds me of that movie, The Cell.
Okay.
With Jennifer Lopez, where Jennifer Lopez has to like go into the mind of a serial killer to figure out where like his latest kidnapped victim is being held. And like there's all kinds of like great imagery and like you know, it's well known for its like, you know, crazy visuals and stuff. But it's like this is the mind of Dr. Bashir, so we're just getting like tennis balls hitting him in the face and then like
it's just Deep Space Nine but with tennis.
Yep. I just thought I'd throw that in there because it reminded me of that. Anyway, I'm about ready to wrap it up if you are.
Yeah, I'm good.
So, yeah, we'll just say that does it for us today. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. As always, check out the description. You may find links to interesting things. Or you may find nothing. I'm Fletcher, about to say goodbye as Data.
Adios.
Till next time, you gotta kiss that nega stick.